It's the Mystery Gen here, and I'm going to talk about a challenge that I made up, and was gonna do it with my friends, but then I moved, so I can't anymore. So um um I was gonna show you. So here it goes. Okay, so this is the first challenge. It's the water in mouth challenge, I think it's called like that. I'm not sure. But this is team 1 and team 2. So player 4 has to try to make player number 1 laugh and spill the water from her or his mouth. And then player 2 and 4 have to do the same thing. So if player 3 makes player 1 laugh first, they win. So they all go to the next round, and basically that's it for challenge number 1. And then this is challenge number 2, and it's whisper challenge. So one of the players in each team has to have headphones on, and the other player has to tell you 3 sentences. If you get those 3 sentences right, you move on to the next round and get 3 points. So basically, if player 1 has headphones on, player 2 has to tell you sentences, and if that player 1 gets those 3 sentences right, they move on. But if team 1 is still doing the challenge, they have to drop everything and move on to the next challenge with team number 1. So if they got all 3 of them right, but you only got 2 right, then that's how basically the game goes. If this player finishes first, they have to drop everything and move on to the next round. So if you guys get me. And then challenge number 3, that is the foot ice bath challenge. So one of the players from each team has to have their feet in the bucket of ice, and their team member has to tell them 3 questions. If they get those 3 questions right, they move on to the next round and get 3 points. So this team number 2, player number 4 has to have their feet in a bucket of ice, and player 4 has to tell its teammate 3 questions, and if that person gets 3 questions right, they move on. But if player number 1 has their feet in the bucket, and player number 2 is telling the questions, and they finish the questions, they all have to keep moving on, because if they got 1 question right, and they got all of them right, then that's how the game goes. But moving on. So baby food challenge. So one player has to taste each of the baby food, and their teammate has the answers. If you get 4 right, you will go to the last challenge and get 4 points right. So not actually the last challenge. This is the last challenge. So I made a mistake there. So this is the last challenge. And no, wait, that's not the last challenge. The last challenge is the condom challenge. Wait, I'm getting ahead of myself. But so player 1 has the answers to what kind of baby food number 2 is tasting. And number 4 has the answers, but number 3 is tasting, if you get me. And number 2 has to, there's six baby food that you will be tasting, and then that baby your teammate has the answers. But if you get 2 or 3 right, 4, you move on to the next challenge. So you basically go to the last challenge, that's mostly the condom challenge. So you basically, there's gonna be like team number 1 is going to, player number 1 is going to have the condom, and is going to drop it on their teammate, and then whoever gets it on their head first wins. So they get to the finish line and everything. And when you get to the finish line, and whoever gets the most points wins and gets prizes, and gets to make the loser do whatever they want them to do. So that's basically all the challenge. And I was also going to show you pictures of what color of hair color I was going to paint my hair. And if you guys can help me that, I'm going to put them somewhere down here, the screen. So if you guys can help me with that. So